Inside a New Delhi research lab, Meghna and Ishita are facing a professional crisis. Their supervisor, Professor Jayadev, has given them a 3-day deadline to synthesize an antidote, a task that has proven impossible using their current chemical models. With their scientific options exhausted, Ishita turns to a text that shouldn't be in a lab, a collection of local folklore and ancient remedies, hoping to find a biological lead that modern databases have missed. She highlights a specific entry in the manuscript describing the Mrityunjay Amrit, a legendary elixir said to grant immortality. The text claims this isn't a synthetic compound, but a natural secretion. It describes a green liquid that drips from a specific tree deep in the wilderness, appearing only under the light of a full moon. Driven by the pressure of their deadline, the two researchers decide to treat this folklore as a credible field lead. They leave the lab behind to track down the myth, gambling their careers on unverified local legends. For Meghna, this isn't just a research trip. The illustration in the book perfectly matches a recurring nightmare she's had for weeks, a vision of a gnarled tree bleeding a glowing green sap. In these dreams, she is hunted through a dense forest by a massive predatory bird, finally collapsing against the trunk of the very tree described in the ancient text. The book points them toward a remote village called Berhampur. To avoid alarming the locals, the girls prepare a cover story, claiming they are researchers conducting a study on rural sociology. As they pass through the village gates, the modern world feels miles away. The silence of Berhampur is heavy, and the villagers watch the newcomers with a caution that goes beyond mere curiosity. Meghna's motivation has shifted from science to survival. She is being pulled toward the source of her nightmares, following a subconscious lead that she can no longer ignore. The fear in Berhampur dates back 400 years. In the 17th century, the village established a set of grim rules to protect itself from a darkness that never truly left the surrounding woods. The villagers fear the Nishir Molo, 4 tall, shadowy entities who march through the forest carrying a heavy wooden coffin on their shoulders. Survival depends on hearing them. The entities announce their presence with a rhythmic chant, a warning to vanish. The lore is binary: hide until it passes, and live. Make visual contact, and they leave behind a frozen, terrified corpse. This legend dictates every aspect of life in Berhampur. The village operates on a system of total evasion, where every resident knows their safety depends on remaining unseen after dark. The weather shifts the moment the girls arrive. A sudden, aggressive dust storm rolls into the village square, replacing the sun with an unnatural wind. The local priest watches as the temple lamps blow out in a room with no draft. To the people of Berhampur, these are well-known signals that the ancient cycle is beginning again. Ignoring the village panic, Meghna and Ishita convince Anuj, the head son, to visit the ruins at midnight. Inside the palace, Meghna begins to navigate the dark corridors with total confidence. She moves through the ruins as if she remembers every turn, leading the group toward the center of a building she has never visited. The rising storm outside and Meghna's intuitive knowledge of the palace suggest a grim coincidence. Her arrival coincided perfectly with the village's environmental collapse and the reemergence of the old legend. As Meghna explores the palace, the forest entities wake up. 4 pairs of glowing red eyes snap open in the darkness, ending centuries of dormancy. The chant of Bum Bum Bash returns to the woods. 2 gamblers at the village edge find themselves trapped in the path of the Nishir Molo, unable to move as the shadowy figures approach. The entities stop before the paralyzed men. For the first time in generations, the heavy wooden coffin begins to slide open. A scream erupts from the coffin, so loud and visceral that it carries across the village, alerting every sleeping resident that the 400-year-old peace has been broken. Inside the palace, the same horror manifests. A heavy, ornate door swings open on its own, revealing a pitch-black room Meghna seems to recognize. The Mrityunjay Amrit they were hunting is the focal point of a deadly 400-year-old cycle, a connection between the palace and the forest that is now pulling the researchers in. Meghna stands at the center of a tragedy that began long before she was born. Her scientific training and lab equipment provide no defense as she faces a door that leads directly into the heart of the Burrampore curse.